might know that kite surfing is referred to be as a sport as they use power traction kites for pull and navigate with the help of the wind. Similar is the stand kite. In my research, and I understand that the intensity towards selecting kite in sports, the sports mode, have an organic growth over the years after Mr. Peter Powell of Gloucestershire-based kite maker who invented the two-line or call it dual-line steerable stunt kite in 1970s. Unlike the single line which you cannot control with a gusty wind, the dual line you can control, but you need to train by yourself before resorting or flying in it. And this kite is credited to have been selling millions with a conventional diamond, little above the diamond shape, but of a kite which sparked to an all-new crazy kiting. Today, the sports kite has a couple of designs. There is another sport kite named Revolution, which we will talk about later, which all together came in an unconventional shape. Fly in a four-line kite requires skill and talent. This kite is invented by Joe Hadziki of US with his brothers created the revolutionary four-line kite design, and the rest become the history. And there are sport kite competitions in many parts of the world and that followed. And one such nearby us is Asian kite competition in Malaysia during Borneo. My meeting with a longtime friend and Mr. Andy Taylor, hailing from UK, was around sports kiting only, and he's giving us a clear-cut dimension that how one should look at if they would want to join in the field of sport kiting. You need to learn the technique with a vigorous training, and it's a skillful job. Not only just a talent, you need to know that a skillful job. The configuration on sport kite is delta or triangular in shape with two line kept foot control for the kiter. It is made the material of the kite of which is polyester nylon or polyester ripstop, which is a light fabric and also very costly material for this kite. The carbon fiber in tube shape is used as spars in the kite. Other than we call it spreaders and the connectors, it's a little flexible. Over the years, the craze spread so fast all across the world. This is a wonderful pastime for anybody or from the companies. I would say, let's say, the stressful corporate executives who love to join after seeing all this kiting all these years, and if at all he or she doesn't find time to make art kites. And the classification in flying sport kite is different than the one believed in art kites, and we have into that. Both has a unique quality in nature. It all depends that how you look at it. Art kites offers you an ocean of opportunities if you look at it, and we will discuss about the kite art and the sports. Of course, different, but at now what we have Andy Taylor talking about the sport kiting. The launching of the kite is, of course, it is sometime uncontrollable if you do not know. But when you, as I said, it requires a vigorous training. What he can compare to like driving a car, or you need to steer it out, like it goes here and that side. So for that, you require to learn the driving, isn't it? So something like this, sort of the stand kiting aspect.
Taylor. I'm from UK, in the south of UK. I live about 70 miles south of London in the UK. When I was younger, I flew kites when I was a kid. Later on, I started making a few kites. My mum sewed a few kites for me. I built a few single-line kites and went out and flew them. And then one day I saw a kite festival advertised quite near to where I live, so I thought I'll go along and have a look at that. So I go along to this kite festival, and there for the first time I see sport kite team flying, and I think, yes, I want to do that. I want to do sport kite team. Now, I didn't know that sport kite team was quite difficult. It's the sort of thing you work your way up to, but I joined the UK National Sport Kite Association. As I say, I had help from former world champions. I eventually bought my own team kites, started competing. In the year 2000, I went to my first international competition as a competitor. I had a fairly short career as a competitor because in 2002 I had to have some surgery, which meant I had to stop kite flying for a while. At that time in UK, our national chief judge said to me, "Andy, you're a flyer, you've had some experience with this, please come and train as a judge." So I said, "Okay, I'll come and train as a judge with you." And I did the judge training, learned what I needed to know, thoroughly enjoyed it, and although I still fly occasionally now, most of my time is as a competition judge. So I'm now judge competitions in the UK, I judge competitions all over Europe. I come to places like Bintulu, I've been to China, Japan, as I say, all over Europe. It's amazing where kites will take you. So, as a judge, I stand right behind the flyers and I see everything they do. So, I've got absolutely the best view in the house. It's great fun to be a judge. You get to know and meet all the top flyers. You see them coming through. You see their progress over the years, how they grow and develop as flyers. Some come in, make a splash, don't last, but others stay around for a long, long time. I'm now, my role is now as a judge, I am chief judge for Europe. They asked me to take on that responsibility, so I'm head judge, national head judge for the UK, chief judge for all the sport kite countries from Europe. I am the European representative. Geographical region has 2 representatives, so there is myself and one other for Europe. There are 2 from America, there are 2 from Asia, so it's a 6-man committee, and we are in charge of the rule books, but most of all what we're trying to do all the time, the rule books are there to create a level playing field for competition, so that wherever you go in the world, you can fly under the same rules wherever you go, and that's very important. So flyers who come here from different countries know that they're going to fly on the same set of rules as they fly in their own country. That's a guarantee. So wherever you see a competition that says, according to IRBC, that's International Rule Book Committee rules, that's a guarantee of excellence, a guarantee of consistent standards. Okay? So that's where the IRBC comes into it. I'm one of the representatives of Europe on that committee. I'm also chairman now of the World Sport Kite Championship. That's a competition exclusively for teams. It's held every 2 years in France. It's possible to take it to other locations, but running a World Championship is an expensive affair, because if you bring, let's say, 10 to 12 or more teams, each team is on average 4 people. So that's 40 people who have got to have airfares, hotels. It's a big, big logistic operation. So my good friend and colleague, Mr. Gerard Clement in France, he stages that competition every 2 years, and we're very grateful to him that he continues to support the sport. And it's an honour to be chairman of that competition. It's a kite that you can steer. It has 2 lines, one for a can. Lines are attached onto these tags here, and you can use these to steer the kite with your hands. Basically, flying a sport kite is a bit like driving a car. So with a car, to steer the car, you use your hands on the steering wheel. With a sport kite, you use your hands to steer the kite. If you pull back, it turns one way. If you pull the other hand, it goes back the other way. So you steer it like a car. Also like a car, you have an accelerator on a car, so you can speed it up or you can slow it down, how fast it goes. Same thing with a kite. If you want to make it fly faster, you pull back with your kite, you pull backwards, that means it's getting more wind into the sail, which makes it fly faster. If you want to slow the kite down, you just walk forward with it so that the effect of the wind is less pressure into the sail part of the kite, this main part here, but there's less pressure in there so that the kite slows down. These kites, I'm afraid, tend to be quite expensive because some of the materials in them, the sails are made from special type of nylon fabric. You can see they've got reinforcing in them, so the material itself is very strong. On all the stress points you've got extra reinforcement. Down here at the wingtip you've got extra little tensioners in there. The sails are pulled into tension by the leech lines here and then stopped off once they're in tension. So actually these kites do tend to be quite expensive. They're quite complicated to build. You can get a reasonable competition ready kite for under £100. So that would be about the same euros. It's about 100 euros, maybe a bit less. That I think is about $120 US. I'm not quite sure of the conversion rate, but start-up kite to get you going with sport kite flying, a good one, not a cheap one, but a good one that will last you for a while and keep you going, keep you happy, and enable you to learn and develop your skills as a kite flyer. I would always say spend as much as you can afford. Don't buy the cheapest kite and think I'm going to learn on this one, because the really cheap kites you won't learn. All you will do is keep repeating the same mistakes. Get a bigger, maybe best quality kite you can afford and use that kite, learn it well. Don't change your kite, don't keep changing your kite. When you're an expert you can get a different type of kite that will maybe do some different things, but for start just get a nice straightforward kite. It doesn't have to be one like this. These ones I think cost about £200 in UK ready-made. This one was designed by a friend of mine called Josh Mitchison. He's a young man, clever designer. He gets them made up by a friend of ours in China because it's quite expensive because of labour costs to build them in UK. So even though it's built in China to help keep the costs down, even so, because of all the materials and the workmanship that goes into it, a kite like this is still going to cost. This is a competition kite, so this is not quite a basic kite. This is a competition kite. So a kite like this is going to cost you about £150–200. Okay, for sport kite competitions, you'll see most of the competition flyers have got 3 or 4 of these kites. And the reason that they carry 3 or 4 different kites is for different conditions of the wind. So in a light wind, with not much push on the wind, you need a very lightweight kite. So you would use even lighter weight material than this, lighter weight spars, maybe fewer panels, because even the stitching adds weight. So you would cut down everything as much as you possibly can. This is what's called a standard wind kite. I have an ultralight kite over in my bag. The other type of kite you need, as the wind gets stronger, you need, if the wind is too strong for this kite, these kites pull very hard and it can hurt your wrists, it can pull you along even, because they do pull very hard. So what you do then is you start cutting away some of the panels and you replace those panels with mesh venting. And the more you cut away, the greater the range of wind you can achieve. So I have one of these with a vented panel there and another vented panel in there. The next one up from that is called a super vented kite, multi-vented kite, and has even more cutouts on the kite. That's just to let the wind through. It flies, each one of these flies exactly the same. You don't fly any differently, but they do enable you to fly in different strengths of wind. Okay, just one thing I want to say is that if you start this dual line kite flying, you might want to get involved in competitions, and you will find competition flyers are very friendly. They will happily help you. I received a lot of help from more experienced flyers when I started. Certainly if you come down to any competition, the flyers are very happy to talk to you, explain their kites and let you try them. I was lucky, some former world champion team called Skydance actually let me fly their kites, lent me some of their sails. I had to put, this is the sail part, I had to put some sticks in them, but they actually lent me some of their kites while I was learning. Once I knew that I was happy and enjoying the sport and wanted to do more, then I could decide to buy my own kites. But that's the kind of help, support, camaraderie you will find in sport kite flying. There's a few clubs around the place. I don't know if you have clubs where you are. We have a few clubs in the UK, all over Europe, very many clubs, and the clubs have often got their own kites, so that you don't need to buy your own kite for as long as you want to. You can use a club kite absolutely free, provided you're a member of that club. Come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. This is a pretty much standard size sport kite. I'm just under 2 meters tall, about 6'2". So how these kites, how they come to be this size is there are 2 lengths of tube inside this leading edge to reinforce it. The length of those is 82.5 centimetres because the material that was originally used for these was for arrow shafts, competition arrow shafts, which were always 82.5 centimetres. So we have 2 of these 82.5 centimetre lengths. The same applies to the geometry all around, because this one here is also 82.5 centimetres. Each one of these 82.5 centimetres. What you have here is called a top spreader, which just helps to keep the sail in tension. Also here you have what we call standoffs or whiskers that again help to keep the sail in that shape so that it gathers and holds as much wind as it can. So that's how the design is like that. They do come smaller. Smaller ones are okay, but because they're smaller, they're actually more tricky to fly. The bigger kite you get, it's much easier, more straightforward, more stable in flight. The smaller ones are more susceptible to slight gusts, to slightest hand movements, whereas with a big kite, small movements you can control it very precisely, and that's the type of kite we use for competition. So here in Bintulu this week we've been having the Asia Pacific Sport Kite Championship, or kite teams. Now kite teams you can have 4, 3, 4, 5, as many as you like people flying. We also sometimes do mega teams, where all the teams get together and fly together. Now that's great fun because you can have, let's say you've got 4 teams of 4 people, suddenly you've got 16 kites up there. I've seen mega teams with as many as 45 kites in. Oh. Now that gets pretty scary. You just have to, all you can do when you fly in a mega team, just keep your eyes on the kite in front of you. Do not look around, constantly follow the kite in front of you. That's the rule for mega team. You'll appreciate, because these kites are very mobile and you can do a lot with them, they've become a very popular spectacle at festivals. So people like to come and see these kites being flown, either flown by expert flyers, but sometimes it's just one expert flyer, sometimes they fly as a pair, sometimes 2 is a pair, 3 becomes a team. So you only need 3 people to make up a team. With 3, there's a bit... Okay, if you've got 3 flyers, there's a fairly limited vocabulary of moves you've got, because everything is based around a triangle. You can move that triangular shape around the sky, but it doesn't offer you too many opportunities, whereas if you have 4 kites, you can do things like threads and reverses, you can do matching, you can do boxes around the sky, all sorts of shapes that you can create with 3, 4, 5 kites. And these, the flyers design routines to be flown with these kites. You can take a piece of music and listen to that music very carefully, and then you can decide what movements of kites should go with each passage of the music. So you will see performances which are effectively a ballet, an aerial ballet for kites.
That's wonderful.